Sony is about to launch its hotly anticipated successor to its PlayStation 3 video games console. We learned this exclusively this morning. Dai Wakabayashi, our technology correspondent in Tokyo, is standing by. Dai, thanks so much for joining us today. I know you were very busily filing your story. Tell us a little bit about what you know about this. People have been waiting for years for the next PlayStation 3 to come out.
Yeah, so Sony sent out invitations today to an event in New York, which they're calling the PlayStation meeting, and they're kind of cryptically teasing, prepare to see the future. And so what we've been able to confirm through talking to our various sources is that what they will announce is the successor to the PlayStation 3. Most people are calling it a PlayStation 4. We don't really know what it will officially be called, but it is going to be their next generation home video game console.
Do we know anything about the specs or the features of this new console by Sony?
Yeah, I think we've, over the last year or so, we've done some reporting. One of the things that we've learned over time is that they're going to use a graphic chips from AMD. As you may recall, last time Sony spent a lot of money developing their own processor for the PlayStation 3, and that was part of the reason why it came in at such an inflated price. But this time they're going to use a processor from AMD. There was some talk about whether it might be a kind of no physical media console, but Sony has decided to go with an actual physical media, so a disc player inside the machine. And more philosophically, I think Sony is positioning the next PlayStation to be integrate more kind of social gaming features, which is obviously a big thing for games on smartphones and tablets, as well as position it more as an entertainment hub. The last time it was very much a video game console, but now in the world where we will stream movies from Netflix, get video on demand from Amazon. This is going to be Sony is trying to position, I think, the next console to be kind of a entertainment hub for your home.
That's interesting. I mean, the broader picture is that gaming consoles in general aren't doing well at all. Nintendo, as you wrote yesterday, has slashed its outlook for Wii U sales for the rest of the year. So the bigger question is, in an era where people are playing more games on their smartphones, is this the device that's really going to bring Sony back into profitability?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big question, right? It's hard to say. Obviously, the Nintendo launch has been kind of this dark cloud hanging over the industry. The Wii U was disappointing, and the question is whether it was something fundamentally, not appealing about the Wii U, or if it's this real big sea change that's taken place in the industry where people aren't playing games on dedicated game machines anymore, and they see smartphone games and tablets and as an alternative. What we can definitely say is that there is so much competition for your entertainment time, whether it's, social networks or whether it's, video streaming anywhere to any device. The person, you have to be a real big video game fan, I think, and to carve out the time to play video games these days. Because, if you have a spare 5 minutes, you can play it on your smartphone, and that may be enough to give you your video game fix for the day.
Right. And the other thing that's interesting about this is that Sony is beating Microsoft to the punch in terms of coming out with the next generation console. How significant and symbolic is that?
Ultimately, I don't think it'll be a huge difference. I mean, I think both machines will be out probably at the end of this year. So certainly at the holiday season, there's going to be a big marketing push, and there's going to be tons of commercials trying to get you to buy one or the other. At the end of the day, I think it doesn't really matter who announces their machine first. It may make a difference who gets to market first, but we don't know who's, right now we're not sure who's going to be first to market.
And Dai, do we know how much this new console is going to cost approximately? Is it going to be more expensive than the PS3?
Right now, we don't know. Certainly, Sony learned a painful lesson, I think, with the pricing of the PS3. I'm not sure how much you remember, but when it came out in 2006, they had two models, one for $500 and one for $600. And certainly that gave a lot of consumer sticker shock, and it hurt PlayStation 3 uptake in the beginning. Over time, Sony has worked very hard to bring that price down to something where it's more palatable for consumers. But I think that did teach Sony a very humbling lesson about, where the kind of pain points are and how much consumers are willing to pay for a new game machine.
Right. Thanks so much, Dai. We'll be following this story today. For more on this story, please go to WSJ.com. For Asia Today, I'm Mariko Sanchanta.